अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मेडिकल एजुकेशन फोरम में डॉक्टर अली हुसैन आपकी खिदमत में हाजिर है।
I know it's almost the weekend, but I have a pretty deep question for you. How do you define death? When do you say someone or something has died? Is it when the brain stops working? Or when the heart stops pumping? Or when your lungs stop breathing? Doctors are split over how to define death. Especially nowadays, with these fancy machines, people can live on life support for years, even decades. But that's delaying death. We can't really call it life. So coming back to my first question, when do you say someone is dead? A simple answer would be this: when their bodily organs stop functioning. One example is cardiac arrest. It occurs when your body stops circulating blood and oxygen. Usually when that happens, doctors try to revive you. They try CPR or a defibrillator. And if that fails, they may call time of death. They declare the patient dead. But what if I told you that that's not the end? What if bodily organs can recover after clinical death? That's what one experiment has shown. One experiment done by scientists at Yale discovered this. And before you get excited, we're not talking about human organs. This experiment was done on pigs. Let me explain how they did it. First, the pigs were observed for 3 days just to make sure everything was normal. After that, they were sedated and put on a ventilator. Why? To induce a cardiac arrest. To put it crudely, to kill them. The researchers checked to see if the pigs had any pulse. After that, they were taken off the ventilator. First stage complete. 1 hour later, the second stage began. The ventilators were turned back on. Some of the pigs were attached to a special compound called Organ X. Now, what does this compound include? The pig's blood and 13 other substances, including anticoagulants. Organ X had a very specific job. The job was to prevent decomposition and restart circulation. And guess what? It worked. 6 hours later, circulation had restarted in the dead pigs. Oxygen was flowing to all tissues. The heart was contracting again, and the liver was producing more proteins. Now, just to be clear, this does not mean that the pigs came back to life. This is not reanimation. This only means that the metabolism restarted. The question is how? Organs start decomposing immediately after death. Without oxygen, the cells break down. They become incapable of working again. So how did these animal cells restart 6 hours after death? Because of Organ X. This compound managed to preserve the pig organs even after death. In fact, it jolted them back into action. Does that mean it is possible to bring the animal back from the dead? Based on this experiment, no. In fact, the researchers found no electrical signals in the brain. They say this study is not clinically relevant. So reanimation is out of the question. Having said that, it does trigger a moral debate. What if future studies can also restore brain function? What if brain death can be reversed too? That would change our entire understanding of death. It would also make some medical processes complicated, like pulling the plug. You might remember the story of Archie Battersby. We told you about him on Wednesday. He is a 12-year-old British boy currently in a coma. The doctors in Britain have declared him brain dead. They want to end his life support, but his family is fighting to prevent that. They believe Archie will pull through. And such studies give families like this more hope. Same with organ donations. If organs can be revived after death, where does that leave donations? Why would anybody donate anymore? I know these questions sound encouraging. It seems like we are close to reversing or at least delaying death. But right now, we are far from that stage. Doctors say these experiments must be explored further before they have any clinical implication. So reversing death is not the takeaway, then what is? This experiment shows that death is not a moment. It is a process. You can't say death happened because of one particular reason or at one particular moment. It is a long and continuous process, which means defining death will become harder in the future. For medical purposes, for legal purposes. The definition of death will change as medicine advances. As far as headaches go, it's a good one to have, we say. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.